parameters, and it gets a bit confusing.
Yeah, we had too much information. It might be a bit of overload.
Yep.
So, yeah, we can actually just this is a static picture. It's not live, but you can in SolarPlus turn them on and off just to build up the picture, especially if you're face-to-face with the client and you just want to step them through.
Like if I was the client asking that question, you just turn on solar export and you go, there's how much you'll be exporting.
Yeah.
Right.
Or I might start that with, here's the solar, here's your load.
Right.
What if we add the battery and this is how it's going to charge up now?
Yep.
And just build that story up.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so these are different battery options for that scenario that we looked at before. And so I've highlighted in bold that 10.4 kilowatt hours, and I've just gone through a couple of different scenarios, stepping it up in increments of roughly one battery module of 5 kilowatt hours. And so we can see here that best payback period was this is before battery rebate pricing, by the way, is 12 years. The powered by renewables percentage is 93% there. And this is the interesting part. If you add another battery module, so increase it to 15.6 kilowatt hours, your powered by renewables percentage is only going up by 3%.
Yep.
So it's not doing very much. In fact, we see that once you get to about 95% powered by renewables, trying to increase that to 100% is really hard.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a problem that we see over and over again in modellings to try and get the whole NEM to 100% renewables, but also with off-grid jobs, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's that last little bit that's
Expensive.
So
Explain to me, why have you highlighted the 10.4?
Because it has the best payback period.
I
there.
see, the 12 years.
Yeah, the 12
Right.
years, yeah.
It's still quite a long time.
It is still quite a long time, yeah. I've used pretty conservative pricing on
Right.
this, and it's before any rebates.
So it's probably worth making the point that batteries don't automatically pay for themselves. They provide other services like backup, but also they insulate you a little bit against increased electricity prices. And of course, it's all about what the current rebates are available. And as we know, the battery rebate's going to really take a few years off that.
Absolutely, yep. And in fact, in terms of increasing electricity prices, I've been pretty conservative with the tariff escalation rate on this one. I think I've only put it at 3%, so I could have increased that a little bit more and made that look
You could have had the
better.
go nuclear option where the prices just go, whoa.
Yeah. Add in a free bomb shelter? No. No. Okay. So we see here the battery utilisation rate is 85%, right? And the smaller battery option gives us a higher battery utilisation rate. That's at 98. Oops. That's at 98%. So we see that the highest battery utilisation is not necessarily the best payback period. And I'll show you why in a moment. Just as a bit of a diversion though, this is the same situation except that they're using most of their power at night time, so it's more of a away during the day, come home at night, everything else remaining the same. And we see this time that battery gets depleted much quicker, obviously, and on that exact same typical April day, it's now running out in the morning. So it's not getting them quite through that. So compared with the other load, so this is just the high daytime use compared with the high evening use, everything else the same. What we notice though is the payback period is heaps better. Right?
Yes.
So I don't know if you've noticed that sometimes when people are selling just solar, they try and, increase the daytime electricity use to make the payback period look better. It's actually the opposite with batteries. So
Why is that?
because your battery utilisation ratio goes up.
Oh.
You're using more of the battery at night time.
But also with many time of use tariffs, that's the expensive, evening
Yes.
tariffs that you're avoiding.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's really counterintuitive. I would have thought, use power when the sun shines is the best option. Yep.
All right, so we go for a larger load, so keeping everything else the same PV, but we increase the size of the load. Let's just say that, they've gone for the electric stove, they got rid of the gas, Now, the best return is actually slightly on the larger battery. It's the 15.6 kilowatt hour, but the powered by renewables percentage is still probably not what people would be after, like 64%. If you're getting a battery, you'd probably be expecting that more of your home is powered by your own solar and battery, right? And the battery utilisation a little bit low. And this is basically because that battery to load ratio is really low, right? So 0.39, and the PV self-consumption is really high. So if we look at what's happening in this scenario here, basically on that same April day, the battery's not even getting full.
Right.
Right? So we need, well, the answer to the question?
Go big or go home.
Yeah, and more panels.
Well, the answer to every problem is more solar panels.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but how much more solar? You know, obviously sometimes you're restricted by what can fit on the roof.
Yes.
But
you've chosen a 6.6, which is sort of tied to the grid tie systems that don't have batteries. But once you add a battery, you've unlocked the potential to have more PV and still get the government rebate for solar.
Yeah. You're not locked into that oversizing of 1.33. You can now oversize beyond that if there's a battery on that.
I mean, many manufacturers give you 100% oversizing, so 200% solar compared to your inverter sizing.
Absolutely, yeah. If the manufacturer lets you do it.
I mean, people think, oh, it does make sense. My inverter's at 5 kilowatts. Why would I put 10 kilowatts of solar? But actually, a lot of inverters, especially DC-coupled hugh inverters, can sing and dance, and that means they can charge the battery and provide AC power to your home at the same time.
Yeah. Hugh Jackman.
Yep.
But just to really illustrate that point of the big load and the small PV, it's interesting to look at a load a week in July, and you see here this dotted line down the bottom here is the battery state of charge, and really in July we've got a slightly higher load and cloudy weather, and the battery's hardly doing anything.
So it's limping along through some rainy days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I was the consumer and I'd forked out for this battery, I'd probably be a little bit dissatisfied, especially if I didn't know that that's what I was in for. So, yeah, if we add another, just for argument's sake, 6.6 of PV onto it, this is the exact same scenario for that exact same week. We're now seeing the battery get to fully charged 5 days out of 7.
Even on poor days, getting some charge, you're getting up to 40%. Yeah, so it's not all about, oversizing is not wasting energy. Sometimes, a day isn't very sunny and you actually can't get a full power out of your inverter anyway. So more solar helps.
Absolutely. Okie dokie. And here, just to illustrate that point, we see with the additional PV system over here, our payback period jumps. Yeah, okay. But that's because we're including now the payback associated with the new panels.
Yes.
Which is always better.
Really good. Yeah.
So we've got a combined payback of the battery.
So you're basically
and
saying
the new
adding
PV.
more solar is cost effective.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also we've got a powered by renewables percentage that the customer's going to be more happy with. Battery utilisation is now up to 98%.
Well, there's 4 million homes at the moment in Australia that have got rooftop solar. Probably about 3 million of them have got those little 6.6 kilowatt inverter sort of PV arrays. So there's going to be a lot of people wanting to upgrade. Yeah. So this is a great example of why adding more solar and a battery really can bring down the payback period.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be interesting times as well. Like I know that a lot of those really old systems are just going to be taken off the roof.
Yeah.
It's going to be really important to recycle them properly, deal with that properly as well, because sometimes it will make sense to do that, but other times it will make sense to leave them there as an AC coupled solution and add more PV that might be DC coupled to the battery.
Yeah, so here at the lab we actually had about, 40, 50 panels we recycled recently. Yeah.
We did like 100.
We did 100.
We had like a whole back of a truck.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. There was a cost associated with it because it is not a simple material to dispose of, but it's worth it. Do the right thing.
Yeah. All right. So in this scenario now, we've got different amounts of additional PV with the same size battery. So looking at